Hi, I'm Daniel from Automate 101, and today I'm going to be taking you through the Cloud Portal Services Manager roadmap. So the first thing is, as part of our arrangement with Citrix and the acquisition of Cloud Portal Services Manager by Automate 101, we've had to rename the product. So we've taken that opportunity to really think about what Cloud Portal Services Manager does for our customers' organizations and came up with a name that really reflects that. So we'd like to introduce you to Atria. Atria is the central courtyard of a Roman house, and it's also a key part of how your heart pumps blood around your body. And when reflecting on what Cloud Portal Services Manager does for our customers, it is the very central point where in a multi-tenant environment, they manage their customers and manage their users. So we really took on board how critical it was and how central it was. And we believe the name Atria reflects that, as does the logo, which again looks like either a robot heart or a shield. So while we're changing the name of Cloud Portal Services Manager, a lot of the good things from Cloud Portal Services Manager are staying, but we've got some ideas and a new focus for the future. So I'd like to start with talking about where we're going and what we're keeping, then talk a little bit about what the next release is going to contain. Our vision for Atria is for it to be the #1 platform for end user application automation and self-service. So our new strategic choices are that Atria itself, or Cloud Portal Services Manager, has traditionally been an engineering tool for engineers. It's helped you delegate tasks from level 2, level 3, down to your service desk or a technical administrator within a company. Our vision is to streamline that and enable Atria to be so simple that end users can self-provision their own applications, or at least request access to them and get approved. Again, we want to lower the cost for you to deliver customer service from your level 2, level 3 down to service desk and further push out from your service desk to the end user. But we know to be able to do that, things need to be slicker. A lot of the decisions need to be pre-made before they get to the end user. You're going to need some simple, easy to use workflow, and we're going to be investing in that. One of the other areas that we've heard a lot about is almost all of our service providers are managing and delivering Office 365 to their customers. But it's complex. There is no multi-tenant management console available for Office 365. Tenant subscription and license management is difficult, and it's often very difficult to transparently understand what a customer has, what they're consuming, and what they should be paying for, meaning that there can be instances where customers aren't paying for everything they should, they're overpaying, or in some cases where you're not sure what's going on and you're overpaying. So we're going to tidy that up and deliver a comprehensive Office 365 management solution. One of the things Atria has done in the past is it's helped our service providers as new technology has become available. When Exchange 2013 came out, or 2016, we had a seamless way where you could move customers and users from legacy 2010 or 2013 to the latest version. We're going to continue to take those concepts on board. How can we help you move your customers to Office 365? What can we do about helping you take advantage of tools like Citrix Cloud or the Microsoft Virtual Desktop Service and others? But a lot of the good stuff that's in Atria is also going to be staying. So right now it has a market-leading framework for you as a service provider, your resellers, customers, down to the end user. It's a very flexible and comprehensive model, which means you can run your business how you need to, and that's going to stay. We've also heard that the delegated administration capability is very strong, and that this also has a bit of a fit for the enterprise market, especially when looking to do simplified delegated administration of Office 365. So we're going to be investing again in that comprehensive delegated administration capability. The Atria provisioning engine is market leading. It is very comprehensive. It allows you to build new services without getting into the GUI, to manage scripts, or custom code your own complete service management. We're going to continue to have that flexibility. We're going to continue to have that power, but we're going to re-architect the service module so that it becomes easier for you to build your own services and have a framework surrounding them. Tenants, users, billing, identity, all the standard sorts of things, so that you don't have to handle those when you build new services. And we're going to continue with the robust, scalable, and dependable engine that you have today, but we're going to make it cloud ready so that you can either run a hybrid environment or as you transition to being a cloud-only provider, this Atria is able to come with you. In the short to medium term, all of the existing services that you see today will continue to be supported. Exchange, SharePoint, Citrix hosted apps and desktops, RDS, Office 365, Skype for Business, all of those services are going to remain. Many of them are going to be enhanced, Office 365 in particular, and we'll come on to that shortly. Others, over time, will depreciate. But for the short to medium term, you should expect the same services to be available and other ones to be added. So enough about what we're doing at a high level. Let's get down to what the next release is going to entail. The next release is what we're calling Refresh. Refresh is going to be available calendar quarter 3, 2019. This release is largely focused on providing bug fixes, maintenance, and getting the product up to date so that it's ready for a modern environment. So there's going to be a lot of maintenance and fixes. There's going to be validation on the latest versions of Windows Server, SQL, all those sorts of things, and the latest versions of all the services, Exchange, hosted apps and desktops, etc., etc. We are going to be doing some modernization of the platform. All new components are going to be developed using a new UI framework based on React, which will be much more scalable, much more responsive, and much better looking. Atria looks like a 10-year-old product, and we intend to remedy that. We will be introducing two-factor authentication for the Atria platform itself, so that you will be able to enable that for you, your internal service desk, and all of your customers' users. Initially, that will be with like a Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator style experience, but over time, we'll be bringing in third-party providers such as Duo or maybe Okta. We're also revisiting our tenant and identity model, which I'm going to talk about a little bit in the future, in the next slide. And lastly, one of the big investments in the platform is we've heard from a lot of our service providers that they're very interested in being able to use Atria to manage single Active Directories as well as the multi-tenant Active Directory. So we're bringing in an AD import utility to make it substantially easier to bring in new customers where you're managing their whole Active Directory and not bringing them into your shared multi-tenant AD. From a services update, Office 365 is going to be a major investment for that, and I've got another slide talking a little bit more in detail about what that looks like. We're modernizing all of the services, and we're going to be re-looking at some of the hosted apps and desktops service to make it more scalable and to set the framework so that we can support our Microsoft Virtual Desktop service and Citrix Cloud into the future. So, talking about tenant and identity. Right now, Atria is very strong at managing an on-premise shared Active Directory. You can also plug in multiple single-tenant Active Directories into that same Atria instance, but it's a little bit complex, it's a little bit difficult. It doesn't really support a hybrid model now, where you have customers partially in a local Active Directory and partially in a cloud Active Directory, in Azure Active Directory. So we're going to be investing really heavily in making it a really smooth and manageable experience where you have customers in a shared Active Directory running your local services, hosted apps and desktops, access to SQL databases, whatever it is, but also that have services residing in Azure, and Office 365 is the really obvious example there, and being able to use all the security and two-factor authentication and all that sort of stuff within there. This also sets the framework for us to be able to support cloud-only customers, customers that reside only in Azure Active Directory. And that is the building blocks, again, for us being able to support Citrix Cloud and Azure Remote Desktop Services, or the Microsoft Virtual Desktop Services. We're also setting the framework so that we're no longer going to be dependent on Active Directory as the only authentication provider. I mentioned Duo and Okta earlier. We're also building the framework so that you'll be able to plug in other identity services that your business requires. Office 365 itself, the initial release is going to be focused on managing tenants, subscriptions, and licenses. If you're a tier 1, you will be able to create tenants, purchase subscriptions, and assign licenses to users. If you're a tier 2, your distributor will still need to create the tenants for you and assign the subscriptions to the tenants. But once they're there, you'll be able to import those tenants into Atria and be able to manage those. You'll be able to create users and assign licenses to users and have them enabled. This will also support delegated administration. So especially in enterprise customers where if you've got several thousand users, you might not want every admin to be a global admin of Office 365. You will be able to segment out some of that management. So for example, an administrator can only manage one office's set of users or one physical location set of users. We see this as a core attribute and an area to invest in. We will also be providing billing and licensing support here to make it a lot easier for you to understand what licenses have been purchased, what are being consumed, and what are being wasted. We're investing in managing single tenant Active Directories. Right now, this is possible with Atria today, where you can have your multi-tenant Active Directory and you can plug in many single tenant Active Directories. And we know most of our service providers are doing this today, but not managing them with Atria. The benefits of doing this with Atria are exactly the same as managing your multi-tenant Active Directory with Atria. You get the same consistent way to provision services, users, you get auditability, you get transparency, and you get the ability to push down complex tasks down to your service desk or back out to the customer. This should make your single tenant managed services or outsourcing as slick and as effective as your multi-tenant service desk. So to help you with this and to improve this experience, we're investing in the improved AD import. So you'll be able to point Atria at an Active Directory. It will suck in all the AD objects, users, groups, etc., and you'll be able to configure it based off that. So it'll be nice and easy to bring on a new single tenant. We will support hybrid Active Directories here, so both on-premise and integrated with Azure Active Directory. And because we understand that in general, the customers that are going to be wanting to maintain their own single tenant Active Directory are going to be larger and are likely to have some of their own technical resources, we'll have improved administration granularity, meaning that you're able to give out more comprehensive admin and configuration capability out to some of your customers' technical admins. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about the market and how we see ourselves positioned in there. So right now, most of Atria customers are service providers or system integrators. So a service provider, a managed service provider, traditionally has been multi-tenant focused and typically targets the small to medium enterprise. So generally under 100 users per customer, in basically all cases under 500 users. The system integrator, while they do often have a multi-tenant environment, are traditionally focused on single tenant, more comprehensive outsourcing, and tend to focus on the mid to enterprise market. So those are the two kind of customers that Automate 101 has today, and we're going to continue supporting them and investing in them. We are seeing some providers moving to being primarily cloud-based and moving away from having any on-premise services. Right now, a lot of that looks like they've moved to an infrastructure as a service environment on Azure or AWS, but they're moving more into platform as a service, investigating Citrix Cloud, investigating Microsoft Virtual Desktop Services or Amazon Workspace, VMware Horizon, those sorts of tools. And we're going to be enhancing Atria to be able to support that. Some of our service provider customers have asked whether they would be able to deploy previously Cloud Portal Services Manager into large enterprises to support that delegated administration capability. Previously, Citrix haven't really allowed that. Right now, you as a service provider are absolutely able to do that. You can deploy Atria instances wherever you like, internally or for your customers. We would be very happy to support you if you wish to take Atria into some of your larger enterprise customers. That is not an area that we're going to be focusing on. That is an area that we think adds value to you. So there is no more artificial license or market segmentation. You're able to take and deploy Atria where it is valuable to you. So again, our focus is on delivering customer value, helping you deliver a better experience to your customers, lowering your service desk cost, making it easier for you to solve your customers' problems. So longer term, where are we going to be taking the platform? So we're going to be investing in the ability for our business to scale, and that means Atria itself is going to become a lot easier to install. We're looking at a range of ways to do that, and improving the service model, improving the deployment process, re-architecting how some of the engine works. We are investing in the multi-AD and the hybrid management, which I spoke about earlier. The services model is being re-architected so that it becomes substantially easier to create a service outside of the core platform, plug it in and have it work, and have the core platform deliver value like identity, billing, reseller capability, all of the sorts of things that the core platform does really well. We're doing some modernization as well. So all of the existing services and all of our existing deployments are going to continue to be supported. And the upgrades that we're working on are going to be in-place upgrades. So there's no rip and replace. The architecture itself is going to be simplified. We know Atria and all its services can be a little bit complex to get deployed, and poking holes through firewalls and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to be tidying that up. We're also looking to package Atria up as like ARM templates so that you can take them and deploy them in your own existing virtual environment, or you can leverage them straight out of Azure. We've also heard that a lot of people want to use Atria as part of their larger automation platform. So we're going to be re-architecting our API to make it much easier to automate Atria itself. So longer term, what does our release cadence look like? In Q3 this year, we're going to have the refresh release, which is by and large what I've been talking about. Every 6 months or so, we will have a major platform release, which is going to look at platform architecture, capability, API, that rejigging the user interface, that sort of thing. But we are focusing on separating out services from the core platform so that over time we can release services outside of the core platform. And we're going to offer those in 3 ways. 1, there'll be ones that we invest in because we see them as broad-based. 2, we know some of our service providers out there have already built some services that they would like to make available. So we're going to be supporting our service providers taking some of their services out to market and sharing them. And the 3rd way is if it's a niche service or a very focused one and you're unable to develop it yourself, we will offer that as a commercial service. Just to highlight the fact that this is we're already starting to put this into practice, Exchange 2019 support has already been released and it is available in the support portal now. Thank you very much for listening to to the future of CPSM, now Atria. Please feel free to talk to me, Daniel at automate101.com. There's more information available at our website. And if you have additional ideas that you'd like to share with us, or you want to track how these releases are doing, please head to ideas.automate101.com and let us know. Again, thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you.